Hey guys, how about a quick break from the Admiral TV project? I'm dying to break into one of these caps and see what's inside of it, but this just arrived from eBay and, well, it came in an interesting package. Yeah, it was shipped just like this. I did break the seal just to see if what was inside is what I had purchased, and yeah, so somebody was thrifty and repurposed this case to ship me the item that I had won. I didn't know what this was at first, but one of my co-workers identified it as a vintage makeup case, and yes, indeed, it is what it is. Luckily, it was not locked. And yeah, there we go, a mirror, an old ruffled case, and it's got a real nice vintage aroma to it. But no, what I purchased was this, which is actually a TV. A TV I did not know existed until it just randomly showed up on my eBay feed saying, hey, you might be interested in this. At first I wasn't, but eventually I was, after I read a little bit more about it. And also, I was the only bidder because it's in rough shape, so I got it for about 20 bucks. I figured, if nothing else, it makes for an interesting little video. So let's take this piece out first. This is power supply / battery charger, and this is actually a TV. Delmonico International. Clear some stuff out of the way here. So, Delmonico, as I learned doing a little research, is JVC. Several Japanese, or several foreign companies in general, had alternate names here. Like Philips was sold here as Norelco, I believe, because their name was too similar to Philco. And I think some of the other companies just wanted to have a more American, jazzier sounding name, so Delmonico rather than JVC. I believe this is their first, I think one of their first exported consumer products, but also I think it was their first all transistorized TV. Correct me if I'm wrong, my information is still a little sketchy at this point. I'm going to put down the camera so I can take this out. I apologize for my lack of a tripod. I wanted to make a quick video since this just arrived, and I just hastily got the Admiral TV out of the way so we can take a look at this. So, yeah, this is portable, and it can run on batteries. Down below here you can put in, I believe it's 6 D cells, or you can run it off of 12 volts DC. There's all the pertinent info. It is a model 4T-20U, 25 transistors, 25 diodes. I believe it's from 1962 or thereabouts. And this guy is both the 12 volt DC power supply and also a battery charger. So yeah, I had to look it up. I did not realize there were rechargeable batteries available back then. I think they were nickel cadmium. So this isn't in the greatest shape. It's definitely seen a lot of use. I expect it will improve with a little bit of cleaning. It's certainly dusty and dirty. The antenna is damaged. Kind of broke off there. Didn't notice that switch before. I'm thinking that's maybe a local distance type switch. Not sure. And you undo these to get at the battery compartment. So I'll pop that open and give you guys a look. And there it is, and I was mistaken. It's actually 9 D cells. So, quite a bit. I do not know how long they last. I'm guessing probably not very, since it's got to run the CRT filament. And power is transferred to the set just through these clips and these tabs. And here's where you can get at some of the controls. Now, from the photos I've seen online, this is not the easiest thing to service. It's very much 3D construction. to pack all the parts in there. They're all packed in around the neck of the CRT, which travels down the middle. But hey, it's solid state, it's fairly modern. Let's get this power up. The seller either said they didn't know or that it didn't work. I have not tried it yet, so let's see what happens. Somebody did a little splice job on the power cord. Either the original plug was damaged or they wanted a much longer cord. It's now about 12 feet. Power pack plugs into the back of the TV. There's a missing knob which would have switched it between charge, AC current, and off modes. I put a screwdriver down in there and put it on the AC current mode. Plug it in. Well, that's a good sign. A little neon light came on saying AC current, so we know that there's power going to that at least. I do believe this is the power button. Now, it being transistor, I would expect to get sound or staticky sounding immediately. Take a little while. This is a CRT, so there's a filament in it that will take a little bit of time to glow. Can't see anything through these. I thought these are ventilation slots. Well, they probably are, but there might be a mesh behind them or something. Alright, so looks like we got a little troubleshooting to do. Could be a bad power switch, could be a bad power cord, or who knows what might be fried inside, or it certainly could be a problem with that. So I think the first thing to check is to see, are we getting 12 volts DC out of this? I just noticed there's a nice little logo there, and got one on the front of this too. I'm also going to see if I can dig up any service info. So let's check out the power supply. I have not located a schematic yet, but what I wanted to do is I pulled the plug out of the TV. Here it is. It's got 3 connectors. I don't know what's what, but if I hook up a multimeter to it and just start probing around, it's supposed to be 12 volts and some combination of these pins, so let's see what we get. Nothing between those two. Nothing between those two. And, well, that looks like a problem. We do not have any voltage coming out of this. Now, if I knew what pin was what, I could substitute another 12 volt DC source for the TV, or if I had 9 D cells handy, I could hook them up. But I don't. I could dig up 8 maybe, but not 9. So instead, let's take a quick look inside here. Maybe it's got like a selenium rectifier that's popped or something. So, how do you get this thing open? Well, see some Phillips screws on the back side. Let's see. I'm guessing there's a power transformer inside, and these two are probably the mounts for the power supply. The cover's probably held on by those. Oh no, there's little screws on front too. Alright, well, let's take those off first. Really tiny. Maybe this guy will do. Yep, cool. I have not worked really on any early 60s Japanese stuff before, but from the photos I've seen online, what I've seen on this side is the construction is a little different than what I'm used to. basically everything's smaller and more compact. Some very tiny screws. This might just be a faceplate, in which case this is going to get me nothing. Yeah, oh, well, no. It does expose some other screws, so let's keep going. Okay, we're kind of getting somewhere. Well, I can see it's a selenium rectifier, and it looks like it is maybe a bridge selenium rectifier. So I'm seeing 4 tabs and 4 connections to it. Unfortunately, this does not get anything out. It just exposes this panel. But I think I was wrong about this. Odd combination of screws, so on the front we got slotted and on the back we've got Phillips. But I can see in there well enough to see that the power transformer is not mounted to these. I think these are holding the subchassis in. I'll tell you one nice thing about taking videos while you do stuff like this is you can refer to them when it comes time to put the stuff back together. Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. Because I don't see how the subchassis is going to come out with this in place, because this is riveted to this piece of metal. It seems like that's the only thing holding it in right now. What the heck? Unless this might be plugged into a connector in the subchassis, in which case you just maybe gotta work it out. The joys of working on stuff without a service manual. There's some odd looking stuff in there. Check that out. I don't know if you guys can see that. Those might be early transistors mounted as like a heat sink or something. It's like 3 cylindrical devices. They could be powers. I don't know what they are. So they got 2 leads coming out of them. Could be transistor with 2 leads coming out of the bottom, and this case is what is the 3rd lead? My suspicions were yeah, my suspicions were correct. Yes, so that stays with this. And there's the interlock. Alright, now we can see what's going on. So, power transformer, mode switch, some lights, charging AC, and this. So we saw this was lit up, but there's no output. That's because this is powered right off the AC line. I do believe it's a neon bulb. 2 big old filter caps, and here's these devices. Oh, they do have 3 leads. So these are transistors. If those are bad, do not want to deal with that right now. I'd be far more. If these are bad, I'm far more inclined to. Well, you know what? I think I really should find some service info. Or dig up a bunch of D cells. I don't know that I can blindly really fix this. I mean, yeah, I can kind of figure. So, but this is, well, this might not be a bridge rectifier. This might be a halfway or a full wave rectifier. In other words, 2 diodes. Well, it could be bridge. So we got 2 leads. One going right to the transformer. The other one going to this mode switch. I'm pretty sure these 2 are AC and these 2 are DC. This is probably negative, and I would think this would be positive. Well, certainly what I can do is plug this back in and see what kind of voltage we got here and here. In other words, I'll just start poking around. Except I can't because of the friggin' interlock, but it looks like it's the same as your standard US type cheater. I shouldn't say that. Misnomer in the hobby is we call these cheater cords all the time. These are not cheater cords. These are just simply AC power cords. A cheater cord is something that would bridge between this and this, which you really don't see come up for sale very often. But that's what a cheater cord really is. It cheats the safety interlock. That's where the term comes from. At least that is my understanding. I'm not old enough to have been around when they were really used. Alright, so got my meter in AC mode. Let's try these two guys. Well, that's no good. It's like 0.0 nothing volts. Just a heck of it all. DC over here. Well, let's try a simple thing first, and I'll spray some deoxit on that mode switch and operate it a few times. Maybe we just have some dirty contacts. Otherwise, this could be bad. There might be a fuse buried in here somewheres. Selenium rectifier might have shorted out at some point, or these filter caps may have damaged that power transformer. But without any AC going into the power supply, well, we're certainly not going to get any DC coming out. Alright, sprayed it with some deoxit, D5 contact cleaner, worked the switch a bunch of times. Let's see if that got us anywhere. Still got our light on. AC mode. Grr. Nada. I'll try to hook up some clips so I can check out the voltage while I operate that mode switch, see if any voltage jumps around. Otherwise, I'm going to have to dig up some service info, and then I can try hooking up an external DC supply. It's a good thing though. I mean, if there is a problem, I'd much rather I was in this power supply battery charger than the TV itself. Alright, so let's see here. So that's off. Let's charge. It is jumping around. It could also be there's something shorted, like in that selenium rectifier, and it's putting a really heavy load on that transformer. So one thing I can try doing, it's definitely doing something. It's not zero when I go from off to on. And it briefly seems to jump up. I can disconnect the secondary from that selenium and see if there's what the unloaded voltage is. Alright, let's do that. Okay, I disconnected one lead that I believe is AC. So let's check out the unloaded transformer output. Seems a mite low. It's kind of jumping around a bit. I mean, if we're going to get 12 volts of DC out of it, we're going to want a little bit more than 3.5 volts AC going in. I'm going to check this guy here, which is another tap of transformer. 15 volts AC. So this is the wire coming out of that mode switch area. So there's a yellow and an orange wire going over in that direction. And this is about 18.2. So I think there's one side of the secondary and then a tap and on the other side of the secondary. And those two wires go over to the mode switch, and then a wire comes out over here and goes into this rectifier. And something's up. Still could be dirty switch contacts. Not sure, but that, I'm going to try flipping that switch again. Off. I'm going to try to peer into that and see if I can see what's going on. One possibility I can do is to simply jumper right from this wire to that secondary. A little nervous about doing that without having a schematic, but I think that's what the issue is. Well, I traced out the circuitry as best I can, and it sure looks like switching the mode simply switches this brown wire between the yellow or the orange, and there's something up with that switch. It does not, it's dirty, and the deoxit's not doing its thing, so I am just going to try jumpering it. So I'm going right from the middle tap on the secondary to the selenium rectifier. I got my DC voltmeter across the main filter cap. I plug this thing into my Sencor PR57, which will give me some protection, or should give the circuit some protection from overload. So I am going to turn on right now. Ooh, that's a little high. So a negative. But I'm not entirely sure which of these negative is and which is positive, and it was 17 volts, although again that's unloaded, which might not be an issue. So do I want to take the risk and hook it up to the set, which could potentially fry it, or do I want to wait so I get a better handle on what I'm doing? Let me think about it. Well, for one, sure, there's one thing I can do pretty easily is I'll put a load on this, a modest load, say like 200 or 300 ohms. Or 180 ohms. Oh yeah, it also occurred to me that that is not regulated. That is the raw supply. So no, what I should really be doing is sticking my probes into this guy. So let's get this thing back on. And now let's see what we get. Nothing there. 11.8. Well, that makes me feel a whole lot better. So you know what? I am going to try this. So, sets off. I'm going to rearrange the camera so you guys can see what happens. Okay, so let's plug the power into the set. And put on power. Turn on the set. Ah, sound. Very, very dim raster. Let's see. I don't know where the brightness control is. That might be one of those internal controls. That's not very nice. Ooh. Tuner seems a bit dirty. I'm really not sure with this channel tuner, like what channel you're on. I don't see any like clear indicator of what station you're tuned to. I'm trying to receive channel 6. Which I'm guessing is one of these two. I thought I'd get some sound, if nothing else. There's a better shot for you. Looks like the horizontal oscillator may be a bit off. That's at one extreme and it's not. You can still see the horizontal lines. I'm going to try flipping that switch that I saw earlier. That did something. It seems like it's got more gain in this position. I get the impression all the controls on this set are incredibly dirty. I switched to using my own transmitter, so I seem to be getting a stronger signal now. And And I'm manipulating all the controls on the set. And I'm not really able to lock in on anything. Incredibly dirty controls. But hey, sound. Alright, I think it is time to pop off the bottom and check out those controls. So although there's a horizontal hold on top, maybe the internal one has gotten more range. Alright, what do we got? Focus! Horizontal frequency, that's what I'm looking for. Vertical height, brightness, and drive. Oops, there's my antenna. I gotta find myself a little flat-bladed screwdriver to get in there. Okay, first off, let's see if we can get this picture any brighter. Okay. I seem to have lost my reception as my antenna fell off. There we go. Now, how about that horizontal frequency? Oh, wrong way. Crap, it's maxed out. There's the other extreme. And that's going to require some surgery. So, probably a... oh, it's so close. Probably a kappa resistor has drifted out of value and the RC time constant has changed and I just can't get the oscillator to lock. Oh, disappointing. Thinking if I had a strong enough signal maybe it could overcome.
It's 9 o'clock, would that be all right? 9 o'clock would be fine. I'll be there.
There is a drive control which may affect the frequency a little bit. I'll try that.
We're very proud of you, Doctor. And of you, the new Hank Miller and Maggie.
It's kind of an odd looking control or variable cap. I don't really want to mess with it.
Such a simple plan.
I'm thinking this is the best I'm going to get right now.
But the Allies with billions.
But hey, that's not bad for a first power up.
American economy as well, and all with the lowly $2 bill. You will leave tonight, parachute into Canada, and be in Washington before the week is out. And one more thing, I will personally be in complete control of this project.
So I want to do a little more homework, find out more about this set, and ideally find a schematic, but for now I think that's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed this preliminary look at the JVC aka Delmonico portable TV from around 1964.